Jim is the grandson of one of the first women elected to New Zealand's parliament who fought for women's rights and has experienced the horrors of war firsthand. He served as an officer in the New Zealand Army during the Vietnam War, then worked as a chiropractor in Northern California. He's been on a spiritual journey for many years, beginning with Krishnamurti and then with the European non-dual master John Klein in 1984. He finally woke up to the fact that he was not his ego or story in 1995. His mission, which he fulfilled via the Global Realization Project, is to bring realization to the world so we can end conflict and war between nations and live in genuine peace and harmony with each other. I always really appreciate hearing Jim because I can feel the shift of energy. I loved it when you were in Santa Monica and I could see you in person, but it's nice having you online. So welcome.
Had some major health problems, which affected my mobility. I struggled to get around, but it's not affected my consciousness, which is still as radiant, clear, and bright and shiny as ever. So the awakening to freedom is the awakening to inner peace is the supreme journey. The more of us that find peace, the more we bring peace to our world. And it radiates out. It's a great moment to find peace. And the essence of finding peace is this. You have to see that everything between your ears comes and goes. Every thought, every feeling, every idea, every belief, everything comes and goes. But you, as awareness, are always here. You, as awareness, are always here. So you're not even your ego I. Ego I thought, we have an ego I thought, of course. But not that either, because it comes and goes. We're not anything that comes and goes. We are what is always here. This is the teaching in a nutshell. People have been teaching us for thousands of years. I was on a spiritual journey for 20 years looking for this and finally found it almost 30 years ago. It changed my life. Freed me up from it brought an end to conflict in my life. That was my thing. I always wanted to be free of conflict. And finally I discovered the source of freedom from conflict, which is to not take yourself to be an I person. So now I'm nobody, and yet I'm everybody too. And so as I quit journeying to teach this effectively, I came across the triggers. Where do we get triggered? That's the only thing that keeps us from being free, is our triggers. It's always the ego I that gets triggered. So you just have to look at your, when was your last trigger? That's where you're not yet free. And so long as when you come to the place where you can no longer be triggered, then you're free. Because you're no longer identified with your ego. Of course, you have an ego. You know you're not yet. You know you're not your ego. So your ego sits on your right shoulder, left shoulder, as a friend, as a guide. You just breathe in and feel the shift in energy now. Feel the beauty of this moment now. Joel Goldsmith, some of you may remember him from the 60s, had a wonderful book titled called The Thunder of Silence. The Thunder of Silence. That's what he speaks to what this is about, because once you are free, you know yourself as pure silence. You merge with the silence as the background to existence. You always have that quality of silence with you. You're taking time now to stop and look within. So much of our emphasis is looking outside. Truth is only found within. And that's brought into the world. So being perfectly at ease with yourself is what awakening is all about. I have a new book titled Heal Conflict Now. Heal Conflict Now. And the subtitle of the book is Mastering the Triggers of Awaken Love in Our World. So it shows you how to master your triggers. You master them by ultimately just seeing them. Oh, I got my ego. That was my ego getting triggered. You learn very quickly on that when you get triggered, it's your ego that gets triggered, not your true self. The true self is just untriggerable. That's what we want to get to, the untriggerable within us. So that introduction, maybe you can help me out with this, Mary Grace. But anybody want to share anything? Any questions? Or any triggers, particularly triggers? That's what I work with, triggers. So let's open the floor. As you sit here silently, gaze into yourself. Who is this me that gets triggered? That's the mantra I recommend. Who is this me that gets triggered? You might be able to find the me actually, other than as a thought, a story. It comes and goes. Remember, you're not anything that comes and goes. You're what is always here. Where what is always here, right now. That's relief and release. So anyone has a question or want to share something, please do so.
Hi, I'm
Yes.
Bob Walker. Um I can share something that happened yesterday that I've still been with and thinking about. Um I've had a lot of challenges this last year, very, very difficult ones. And so I've been going to a place inside myself a lot where I've just been touching this profound peace and realizing that it's coming from within my heart. It's nowhere outside of me. I don't even know how to explain that. It's just been really amazing. It feels so deep and so profound. But yesterday, this is amazing. I had just gone through something with myself in the morning, and I felt this sense of peace. And then something happened where I had posted something on Facebook that someone informed me was a scam, and it was about a little girl that was lost. And I was so touched by this story and so concerned about this little girl, and I reshared it. Someone came on and told me that it was a scam and said, um, these people were doing this, and everyone you send it to will, they can get into their information and blah, blah, blah. And she ended it by saying, quit helping them. Quit helping them. And it just hit me so hard, like, oh my God, I so innocently shared that and was so touched by this story. And so that's why I shared it. And so now I'm being pointed out as this terrible person who's done this. And and then I felt really bad. Like I really don't even know how to describe this. So it took me to a place of feeling wrong and bad. And then I had a really hard time shaking that the rest of the day. And I finally kind of came more to terms with it. But I just saw that as this huge trigger, being told that I've done something wrong
Yes.
and feeling, you know, like I have done something wrong. It's like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything purposely. And this is
Yeah.
person's telling me, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? And it's like, I didn't know I was doing that. So, but it just is amazing how something like that can happen after all the other things of going through and coming back to a sense of peace. But then something like that happens and boom, it's all like it can disappear in that moment.
Right.
So, but I do understand that that's my ego getting triggered. I do see the difference. And it comes from an old place, uh, from a young, very young place of
Yeah.
feeling like I've done something wrong. So,
Yeah. So that's good. You can acknowledge yourself. This is showing that I'm not yet free. And very quickly you'll see there was an ego story, an ego reaction. And you come back to now. And the truth is, there's only now. There's only this moment now.
yeah.
It's all that ever is. This moment now. So we come back to peace and beauty that you've touched upon now. Come back to that now. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. Speak up.
Hi, Jim. Good to see you. Yesterday, I was shaken by the news that my car needs a new transmission,
Yeah.
and the new one is $3,400, just the transmission. And it was such a trigger. It just, I just wanted to be in bed under the covers and curled up, because at the moment, that would be too much for me. And so luckily, the mechanic gave me a ride home. I was in contact with my friends. We are in a group. We discuss. We share a lot of deep feelings with each other, and I joined them in Zoom, and I could get a lot of support from them. And throughout the day, that was amazing. But I needed to do the inner work, so I did a meditation by myself. And then at random, I chose a meditation in YouTube. And the main message in that meditation was, what I need is within me.
Yes.
What I need is within me. And I felt so grounded after that. And then I take a yoga class with my niece in Argentina. So I took it online. And I was a new person. I felt balanced. What we have is the present. And I'll work it out somehow.
Yes, you will.
But I did not, I wasn't in that hostage situation I was in the morning when I
Good.
was told. So I could see the difference and the shift. And that's
Beautiful.
where I'm still now.
Thank you. Your name is Patricia, right?
Yes.
That's good. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, Bill. Is it Bill?
So once I get triggered, one thing I learned to do is I say to myself, well, thanks for sharing that, but I'm not going there, right? And so
Right.
it's a habit I've developed when I get triggered or upset. I just thank my ego for sharing and then say, no, I'm not going there. So I don't know if that's meaningful for anyone, but that's what I do.
It's a step. It's not freedom, but it's a step, a healthy step. When you finally can't be triggered at all, then you're free. Then you're free. We're still human. We still maybe momentarily get triggered. We quickly realize, oh, that's my ego, not the real me. So you're saying I'm not going there as a healthy step. Thank you. So you come back to now. We come back to the present moment. We don't have to think. We just come back to being here now. And being here now is a beautiful place. Now is always the best place to be.
Yeah, it seems like on some level when I'm triggered, it's just my ego trying to protect me for something. It's usually not appropriate or useful, but sometimes it is. So I'm really careful to distinguish when it's helpful and when it's not, and that's when I just dismiss it. So,
Good.
you know,
I notice how different I feel right now with the pace of this. I think I get very attached to how the meeting is run, and I notice how different this pace is, the slowing down, how different that is than my normal pace in life, which is fast a lot. And yet, whenever I have been with Jim in Santa Monica when we did it in person or online, um, it's like I can feel myself when I'm slowed down. I can feel myself. Um, yeah, and it feels like a coming home, like, oh, there I am. There I am. I really appreciate the shift in the lack of speed, the just being here in this instant.
Beautiful. It really is a timeless place. I guess that's another way of looking at freedom, to be so tuned into this moment now that you there's only this moment now. This moment now becomes an eternity.
yeah, one of my teachers used to say, use the phrase slowing down to the pace of life, right?
Yeah.
And I reflected on that for quite a while, sometimes that pace of life is frenetic, rush, worried. But I just remind myself to slow down to the pace.
Right.
So, I mean, if you look out in nature and like this canary was exploring our garden looking for bugs, I guess, and just so beautiful to watch that bird with a golden breast
Yes.
go into the plants and look and totally present. The bird wasn't worried or thinking about anything. They're just looking for some food. So it's important to slow down. Our society pulls us into this frantic pace of achievement and accomplishment. And, if you can just let go and be present, it's really a different experience in life. And right now I have physical issues that I'm struggling with.
Me too.
But, I'm just trying to be present with my life and not let the physical issues dominate my consciousness. So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
I had this. I recently moved, but I really appreciate I'm breathing much more expansive right now with when we're talking. But I took a walk a few weeks ago and I saw a succulent plant that maybe a gardener just sort of threw out a piece of it. So I took it with me and put it in water to root it. And just today it was potted, or yesterday it was potted, but it was like the roots just come when they do. and and they just, just come into the soil and the earth. And it was something that felt really precious for me. And the fact that I saw roots coming at the same time, they came when they did. So it wasn't a pushing or shoving. It was just, I was just encouraging it and nourishing it along. So it caused me to think about just slowing down and just being with what is. I just wanted to share that.
Beautiful. Yeah, slowing down to the speed of life, speed of the natural life. That's what it's all about in many ways. All those beautiful people.
There's something I would like to share because we've been talking about birds a lot
Yeah.
and how I've been sitting on my porch every day, writing in my journal, thinking about purpose, what's next, and I know that it's coming a lot from an ego place. You know, what am I doing here in this world? How am I going to make a mark? And it is a big struggle every day, and then slowly figuring out how to what I'm doing is I'm breaking down purpose into bite-sized daily pieces, and it feels in some way that um I'm allowing somehow the ego to stop battering at me all the time, and like offering a kind of compromise and saying, you know what, if I accomplish these 7 to 12 things a day, and many of which are self-care, there's that's like an amazing every single day purpose has happened. And so I sit there watching the birds, but every so often I come out and the bird feeder has been uh, pulled down by the bears. So,
Oh,
so I live in Asheville, and bears come into my yard, and I have amazing pictures of bears walking into my yard. And I had one, and last week a young bear came onto my deck and jumped up onto the banister and started sucking out of the hummingbird feeder.
my God.
And it's just amazing, for me to again sit back and say, and I'm angry. I want him to stop ruining my bird feeders so that I can sit and watch the birds. But it's like it's yet another kind of external manifestation of, it is what it is. I'm just gonna sit back and watch life happen. So I wanted to share with you guys about the bears and my birds.
Thank you. Yes, it's just interesting to hang out in the silence, particularly when you know you're not your ego. Then you experience true silence. You have an ego, but you're not your ego. Your ego is your ego, as we say in my group. Your ego is your ego. So you have a thought, but now you can watch. Once you are free of your ego, once you're free of your triggers, then there's something else that just freedom. You're free here now. It's a beautiful thing to be free. Yeah. You know, another question? Maybe not. You just speak as the Spirit moves you.
Looks like Lovita is waving her hand.
Maybe
Jim, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for your generosity. Every time you come, it is just, again, affirming that there's a different way to integrate our experiences. I had an experience this week that I'm still kind of pondering. I had a root canal done, and now it has an infection in it. And when I called the dentist, they were out of town until after the holiday coming up, as was everybody in the office, et cetera, et cetera. Anyhow, it got very chaotic. Even though I had a prescription for an antibiotic, they wouldn't honor it without approval. And I found myself standing in the pharmacy, and my body was shaking because I was feeling so much distress. But my mind was at peace. And after negotiating with the pharmacist and texting the office manager, it's, making great effort to, I knew I was in trouble physically because of the infection. I excused myself and I went and sat down, and I thought, I know there's another way. I just need to be still. And as I sat there, and it's like I'm experiencing again this morning with you, that's why I appreciate your generosity. A peace did come over me. It amazingly got resolved to where I ended up with my prescription. But I have a question, and it is, how is it that the body reacts one way, but my nervous system is reacting another?
Say the question again.
How is it? I saw the difference between my physical reactivity to being under great stress.
Yes.
And my nervous system. No, I guess it was I knew there was another way. And when I sat down and got quiet, I tapped into this place again where I am right now that I'm so grateful for. I have tears on it. How is it that the body and the nervous system can have two different experiences?
I think that's the whole secret of healing, actually. Because when you really get to, the pain is so great, the physical pain is so great.
Yeah.
You have to be present with it. And the more you're present you are with it, the more it subsides.
Present with the pain?
Yes, right.
Well, yeah, there was no getting away from it. It was, but I was aware that my mind was not experiencing pain, or something. There was something else that wasn't experiencing stress or pain. And when I sat down, I got in touch with that. And then my body started to stop shaking.
Exactly. That's what I'm referring to. When you get so present with the pain
Yeah.
It
but I
becomes,
didn't want to identify with that.
becomes manageable.
So thank you for this morning. It's like I said, it's really affirming. And I appreciate every time you grace us with yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I often think about my own history of troubles. 3 strokes 20 years ago, affecting the right side of my body.
Yeah.
And then this last bout of health issues I've been struggling with in about 3 years now. Started with a hip fracture. Developed Parkinson's disease. And I would think that these troubles are meant to remind me to be even more present. When I am present with the pain, then it's much less, much more manageable. So one of my books is subtitled "Be Present." There's no story. So when you come to life without any story at all, you can feel it. That's what's being felt here. I have no story, no agenda, other than just being. And you can sense that. You sense it in another person when they have no story. They're identified with, that they're attached to. In some ways, the whole spiritual journey can be that, described as that, getting free of our story. The story of me, the story of I. And coming to this place of pure peace, pure consciousness, where your energy comes from pure consciousness. Not a story. Right? The story, the ego gets excited about a story. When it has a good story to tell itself, the ego feels great. But when it's not so good, the ego feels bad. Well, I'm talking about something that's beyond ego, in the realm of just pure being here now.
Jim, thank you for your presence as I'm sitting here listening to you and everyone and feeling so much peace and grace. Your presence, like, it seems to me you embody what you're practicing and, for lack of a better word, preaching. And it's just nice. And I'm realizing, like, I want to share something, but I'm like, when I'm in peace and in my beingness, I don't want to talk.
Right.
I just want to be in the silence. It's like a wonderful, mysterious space to be in the silence with everybody. And I think that's what's happening to all of us. We're just enjoying this peaceful silence in togetherness.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you for that beautiful presentness that you share and expand from your beingness to all of us.
You're welcome. I the 1950s, there's this famous author named Paul Brunton. He went to Maharshi's ashram in India. It's a list of questions. He asked where you could find the Maharshi. Maharshi said, the man who greeted him said, oh, it's a meditation hall. So meet him there. So I went to the meditation hall and a bunch of people sitting on the ground. And the Maharshi was sitting on his deerskin blanket, and the Wilburn had sat down with a list of questions, and as the time went on, it got quieter and quieter, and eventually Maharshi said to him, so you have a question? He said, well, I thought I did, but I don't now. He discovered that just as you did, that all his questions dissolved one by one. And this cruising on bliss is the real joy that you're seeking. And then we have to live in the world with that. Live in the world with that. You need to find meditation, bliss in meditation, sitting on a meditation cushion. And can we bring it into the real world? Can we bring our enlightenment into the marketplace of daily life? That's my real interest. That's why I started the Global Realization Project. Of course, it's an idea right now. Who knows what time I'll have, how much time I will have. 78 now, almost 78. But at least I'm alive and well here now. Our triggers. When we're no longer can be triggered, then we're free. Then we've mastered our ego. It's the only thing you have to think about. Your triggers. What triggers you? What triggers me?
Okay, here I go again. One thing that helps me is one of my teachers said, you know, Paul, in any moment, people are doing the best they know how. The next day, they might go, oh, geez, why did I say that? Why did I do that? But if you understand that people are just doing the best they know how, it's a lot easier to forgive them for whatever, you know. And it's true for you too. We're always doing the best we know how. Maybe it's not the best we can do, but it's the best we know how. So it just helps me be less judgmental and kind, more kind.
Right. Beautiful. And what Aldous Huxley was asked in his life, well, if you could sum up his teaching in one word, he said yes. Well, 3 words actually. Try to be kinder. Try to be kind.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you for the, speaking for myself, for the energy that you bring to our meeting. And for me, the slowing down. Always appreciate when you share with us.
Thank you for the invitation. Mary Grace.